Hi, everybody. Looks like I'm a little bit late popping on here, but I just wanted to wait a few minutes. I know I'm already late, but I'm gonna wait a few minutes just to see who can pop on here. So, welcome, everybody. Tonight we have the opportunity to come together and practice sitting meditation, breathing meditation, and reciting the 5 mindfulness trainings. This is a perfect opportunity for us to come back home to our true selves, to just return back to center. There's been a lot of things that can potentially diffuse our energy and our attention and our focus. And this practice that we have of mindfulness is a tool for us to be able to come back to our center, come back to ourselves. I'd like to start off with a quote this evening. Two quotes actually, and it's focused on ancestry and lineage. There's a wonderful book that's been put out a few years ago and is very popular right now. It's called My Grandmother's Hands by the author Resmaa Menakem, and he talks about how trauma, more specifically racialized trauma, is located in the body. And intellectually, we can start to dismantle those things inside of ourselves, those feelings of whatever internalized racism that we have within ourselves. But it really starts with our bodies and being aware of how we maybe unconsciously respond. And the book by Resmaa talks about working with our ancestors, because trauma is passed down from ancestor to ancestor, and it can be transmitted through our cellular DNA, but also our actions. Resmaa says that we can push trauma through the generations. And Thich Nhat Hanh, our dear beloved teacher, has been quoted as saying, and the Buddha also says this, is that what we do not transform, we are bound to transmit. And that is why it's very important to look deeply into the causes and conditions that have nourished some seeds in us to rise. Seeds, we have lots of different seeds in our consciousness: seeds of anger, seeds of disappointment, seeds of joy, seeds of happiness. So it really depends on what seed we water. And so Resmaa's book, My Grandmother's Hands, talks a lot about healing the body, your own personal body, and that also extends back to heal our ancestral lineage as well. So this first quote is by Sanobar Khan. "It was the kind of moon that I would want to send back to my ancestors and gift to my descendants, so that they know that I, too, have been bruised by beauty." And this second quote is by Lawrence Overmeyer. "All of our ancestors give us the precious gift of life. Do we use it wisely? Do we use it well? Do we make a name for ourselves and for our children of which we can be proud?" So with that, I'd like to welcome you into a comfortable seated position for our first seated meditation of the evening. I just realized I didn't put my headphones on. Hopefully you can still hear me. And just get into a comfortable position somewhere between restful and wakeful. And just play with your posture. Move around until you feel maybe the anxiety of the day is maybe released in a way. Maybe you need to shake it out before you're ready to sit. Um, Sometimes sitting cannot calm the nervous system until we allow ourselves to move and expend energy before we sit or before we settle. So this is like the settling before we settle. I think it's called proprioception in neurobiology. Proprioception is like feeling our body in space. It's a way for our anxiety to calm down because we know where we are in space, and it's part of grounding and getting back in touch with our bodies. So we can do this proprioceptive exercise where we are just coming back into this space, getting ready for our first seated meditation of the evening. And I'm going to invite the bell 3 times, and we'll go into a guided meditation followed by a silent meditation. And you can close your eyes or just shift your gaze downward and maybe blur your vision a little bit so that you don't have anything particularly in your sight. Find an easeful place inside your body. Find your breath and feel all the places where your breath goes. Your belly, your chest, your throat, your mouth, your nose. Where else does your breath go? And I'm just going to invite the bell 3 times. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. We send our hearts out along with the sound of the bell. May all who hear it awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Breathing in. I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out. I know that I am breathing out. In, out. Breathing in. I follow my in-breath from its very beginning to its very end. Breathing out. I follow my out-breath from its very beginning to its very end. In, out, beginning, end. Breathing in, I know that this is a wonderful moment. Breathing out, I know that this is a peaceful moment. In, out, wonderful moment, peaceful moment. So we'll enjoy silent meditation until the next sound of the bell. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just observing any thoughts that come into the mind and allowing them to just float in and out of your awareness like a cloud. And if there's some very strong, persistent thoughts that are coming up for you, very triggering or traumatizing, just open your eyes and move your body in a soothing way. And see if you can come back to a seated posture. Not trying to force or push away anything that may come. Eventually aspiring to embrace any and all suffering. And we'll enjoy silent meditation for another minute or two. Inviting the small bell for stretching and massage. So go ahead and stretch. Stretch your body from for the past couple of minutes. Open your chest up, reach up to the sky. So now we're going to recite the 5 mindfulness trainings. The 5 mindfulness trainings are one of the most concrete ways to practice mindfulness. They are non-sectarian and their nature is universal. They are true practices of compassion and understanding. All spiritual traditions have their equivalent to the 5 mindfulness trainings. The first training is to protect life, to decrease violence in oneself, in the family, and in society. The second training is to practice social justice, generosity, not stealing, and not exploiting other living beings. The third is the practice of responsible sexual behavior in order to protect individuals, couples, families, and children. The fourth is the practice of deep listening and loving speech to restore communication and reconcile. The fifth is about mindful consumption to help us not bring toxins and poisons into our body or mind. The 5 mindfulness trainings are based on the precepts developed during the time of the Buddha to be the foundation of practice for the entire lay practice community. Thich Nhat Hanh has translated these precepts for modern times because mindfulness is at the foundation of each one of them. With mindfulness, we are aware of what is going on in our bodies, our feelings, our minds, and the world, and we avoid doing harm to ourselves and others. Mindfulness protects us, our families, and our society. When we are mindful, we can see that by refraining from doing one thing, we can prevent another thing from happening. We arrive at our own unique insight. It is not something imposed on us by an outside authority. Practicing the 5 mindfulness trainings, therefore, helps us to be more calm and concentrated and brings more insight and enlightenment. And this passage is from Thich Nhat Hanh's book, Happiness, The Essential Mindfulness Practices, that was published in 2009. So let's just take a deep breath. And if it helps you, just close your eyes as you just allow these words to wash over you. Thich Nhat Hanh is very careful to say that these are not commandments. These are guideposts that help us to sort of be mindful about what it is that we're doing in our lives, whether consuming, participating in things in our lives, and helps us to keep a more mindful eye on what it is we're doing. So Thich Nhat Hanh is very careful to say that these are not commandments and things that we should do and that we have to do, but rather suggestions and guideposts to show us what Buddhists call the middle way. The first mindfulness training, reverence for life. Aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I am committed to cultivating the insight of interbeing and compassion and learning ways to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and minerals. I am determined not to kill, not to let others kill, and not to support any act of killing in the world, in my thinking, or in my way of life. Seeing that harmful actions arise from anger, fear, greed, and intolerance, which in turn come from dualistic and discriminative thinking, I will cultivate openness, non-discrimination, and non-attachment to views in order to transform violence, fanaticism, and dogmatism in myself and in the world. This is the first of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort to practice it in the past month? The second mindfulness training, true happiness. Aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression, I am committed to practicing generosity in my thinking, speaking, and acting. I am determined not to steal and not to possess anything that should belong to others, and I will share my time, energy, and material resources with those who are in need. I will practice looking deeply to see that the happiness and suffering of others are not separate from my own happiness and suffering. That true happiness is not possible without understanding and compassion, and that running after wealth, fame, power, and sensual pleasures can bring much suffering and despair. I am aware that happiness depends on my mental attitude and not on external conditions, and that I can live happily in the present moment simply by remembering that I already have more than enough conditions to be happy. I am committed to practicing right livelihood so that I can help reduce the suffering of living beings on Earth and reverse the process of global warming. This is the second of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort to practice it in the past month? The third mindfulness training, true love. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I am committed to cultivating responsibility and learning ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. Knowing that sexual desire is not love, and that sexual activity motivated by craving always harms myself as well as others, I am determined not to engage in sexual relations without true love and a deep long-term commitment made known to my family and friends. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. Seeing that body and mind are one, I am committed to learning appropriate ways to take care of my sexual energy and cultivating loving kindness, compassion, joy, and inclusiveness, which are the 4 basic elements of true love, for my greater happiness and the greater happiness of others. Practicing true love, we know that we will continue beautifully into the future. This is the third of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort to practice it in the past month? The fourth mindfulness training, loving speech and deep listening. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful speech and the inability to listen to others, I am committed to cultivating loving speech and compassionate listening in order to relieve suffering and to promote reconciliation and peace in myself and among other people, ethnic and religious groups, and nations. Knowing that words can create happiness or suffering, I am committed to speaking truthfully, using words that inspire confidence, joy, and hope. When anger is manifesting in me, I am determined not to speak. I will practice mindful breathing and walking in order to recognize and to look deeply into my anger. I know that the roots of anger can be found in my wrong perceptions and lack of understanding of the suffering in myself and in the other person. I will speak and listen in a way that can help myself and the other person to transform suffering and see the way out of difficult situations. I am determined not to spread news that I do not know to be certain, and not to utter words that can cause division or discord. I will practice right diligence to nourish my capacity for understanding, love, joy, and inclusiveness, and gradually transform anger, violence, and fear that lie deep in my consciousness. This is the fourth of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort in the past month? The 5th mindfulness training, nourishment and healing. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I am committed to cultivating good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will practice looking deeply into how I consume the 4 kinds of nutriments, namely edible foods, sense impressions, volition, and consciousness. I am determined not to gamble or to use alcohol, drugs, or any other products which contain toxins, such as certain websites, electronic games, TV programs, films, magazines, books, and conversations. I will practice coming back to the present moment to be in touch with the refreshing, healing, and nourishing elements in me and around me, not letting regrets and sorrow drag me back to the past, or letting anxieties, fear, or craving pull me out of the present moment. I am determined not to try to cover up loneliness, anxiety, or other suffering by losing myself in consumption. I will contemplate interbeing and consume in a way that preserves peace, joy, and well-being in my body and consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family, my society, and the earth. This is the 5th of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort to practice it in the past month? So thank you so much for your practice and for listening to the recitation of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Every time I hear those trainings, a new piece of it pops out at me, depending on what I'm going through at the time. So I'd like to invite you into a comfortable position once again for our last meditation sit of the evening. Get into a nice posture, upright posture. If you need to move around a little bit, just to find some comfort in your body. And then I'm just going to invite the bell 3 times, and then we'll go into a silent meditation. And just follow your breath. Maybe counting how long it takes for your in-breath, how long it takes for your out-breath. Small bell for stretching and massage. Thank you everybody for your practice this evening. I hope that we can dedicate the fruits of this practice to our world today. May all beings who are experiencing suffering share in the fruits of our practice today and feel the benefits in their own lives as a result of this practice. Let's sing a song together. We haven't sung a song together in a while. So this song is a song in the Plum Village tradition. It's very popular. It's one of the main songs, and it's called Breathing In, Breathing Out. And there's a group of lay practitioners that is for children and teenagers, called Wake Up. I think there's a Wake Up Boston and there's a Wake Up Providence, I think, too. So this song involves hand movements. So just follow along, and I'll sing it once through so that you can watch, or you can sing and kind of like hum through it. And then you can join in yourself with the hand movements, okay? It's called Breathing In, Breathing Out. It goes like this. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew.
I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. So, I guess I'll just sing it once more and then you can join in. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. Yay, silent applause. So, our next mindfulness meditation is going to be September 3rd and September 17th, both Thursdays at 6 p.m. And we'll see you then. Thank you so much for your practice and enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Take care.